Myntra, which has announced the plans of relaunching its website on the 1st of June. Now, Myntra says while mobile will continue to be a focus area, they expect desktop to contribute over 20% in revenues and will help them break even faster. 18 Hours Rahul Dayama caught up with Anand Narayanan, CEO of Myntra, to know more details about their way forward. Listen to this conversation.
Critics are completely wrong. My sense, by the way, is India is a mobile market and eventually we'll win on mobile. The reason for actually us going back on the decision and introducing the desktop is the following. First, we find that the volume of customers who still want desktop has not died down. It's not grown, but it's not died down. And we believe that customer segment we should not lose out on. Second, we've introduced a set of new categories: home, furnishings, jewelry, which all, by the way, customers tell us that on a bigger screen format will work better. Third, I've talked about this before, we are focusing on women and mass premium customers. Mass premium customers typically have both a laptop and a smartphone, and they like shopping on both devices simultaneously, and we wanted to give the customers that option. I still believe app and mobile will be 80+% of the revenue, and desktop will be only the 15 to 20%. But we want to give customers the convenience there.
All right. You think that this move would have paid off if you would have been a little more persistent on this move for a few years?
If you look at our engineering and our resources, they're continuing to focus on the app because I believe that's where we're going to win. We're just making sure that we give consumers choice. Look, we're all about making bold moves. We're quite innovative as a company, but we also are humble enough to say when consumers give us feedback, we learn from it, right? That's also part of our culture. So I think that's all there is to it.
All right. A few questions. You think such futuristic bets would pay off for companies that are not really under pressure to, show GMV targets in a highly competitive world that we are in?
Sure. So firstly, by the way, I don't think we're doing this for GMV targets. We grew 70% year on year from last year to this year. And I think that's outstanding. So we're not doing this for GMV. We're doing this for consumer experience, right? And there is a segment of consumers that want it. That's why we're doing it. I believe it's not a futuristic bet. It's a current bet. And I do believe that the app only moved. And the app moved. We got the company and the culture focused on mobile and on app. And I think that will pay off big time.
Also, a few analysts have really said that, the decision was prompted by a move that your larger competitors were able to, get hold of customers who wouldn't really shop on the app. So the drop down in sales, let's get a little candid. Was that also a major reason?
Not really, right? So look, we lost, when we did the move, I've talked about this before, we lost about 20% of our revenue. Now, what actually happened was the app growth actually more than made up for it. So overall, we still grew by 70%. So I don't think this was driven by revenue growth. I think it was, again, as I was saying, driven by consumer and consumer experience. On competition, don't really want to comment on it. I think we are focused on consumers and making sure that they have a great experience and look good on Myntra. That's what drives our intent and behavior.
And then last two questions, I know you have to rush by, but now with your desktop site back in place, in terms of sales, what impact do you anticipate in terms of revenue? Because, a lot of consumers would again come back and shop.
Sure, I believe that we will get about 15% to 20% of our revenue from the desktop. And that's what I think will happen. And I think that's great. Most importantly, I believe that there will be many consumers that will shop on both devices, both desktop and the mobile app. And I think that will be an even better consumer experience. And I'm hoping that it builds more than revenue, it builds loyalty of our customers.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.